because we're all sort of caught up in the vote tally for tonight, and is it going to be a President Trump or is it going to be a President Harris? Frank brought up some good points. This could have a profound implication on the Supreme Court. You know, these appointments, there is a very real possibility Donald Trump could appoint 5 Supreme Court justices if he's in office for another 4 years. We've got 2 justices who are nearing retirement age who might choose to step down so that they can be replaced by Republican.
Thomas Alito.
Big job for the media, by the way. Big job for the media. The next time there is a confirmation, advise and consent for Supreme Court nominees, the media has to go crazy that they change the vetting rules and end the culture of acquiescence. Ever since Robert Bork, Google it, ever since Bork, the 2 sides have agreed tacitly that they don't ask the other side's nominees any questions other than that first round about their politics, because Bork was honest. And Bork told the truth about where his decisions came from, and he got dinged.
And he got
So now you have people sitting on the court that are part of activist political organizations and religious organizations.
Well, I'm sorry.
They should have to disclose it in the vetting. That rule should change, and it's on the media to push it.
Well, it was Kamala Harris who went after Brett Kavanaugh in a way that was pretty wild. I don't think you can say senators have been handcuffed in how they question.
Again, I'll say it again.
She's most infamous for asking him, is there any single piece of legislation that gives the United States government control over a man's body? I think that's a very legitimate question.
And they went after him personally. I lived the whole thing. He was a few years ahead of me at Yale. I did all the reporting. I know it very well. And I understand why people didn't like it. Different point. I'm saying, you want to be a Supreme Court justice? You tell me what your political positions are. The time for transparency has come. The time for having men and women say, oh, I'd have to see the case, Elizabeth. Sorry, I don't. And that's stare decisis, which is Latin, so that's really impressive.
Right.
And nobody gets that it's stare decisis until you say otherwise. That's what your job is. The transparency, the time has come. Tell me what you are. Tell me what you're about. Don't make me find out on the bench.
Continuing on what Frank was saying, it's not just the Supreme Court, but he brings up a good point. Civil servants. Trump has been pledging to throw out thousands and thousands of
It's also cabinet appointments. Because our good friend Chris Dial made a good point that Republicans are on their way to 52, 53, 54. You look about what's happening right now in Pennsylvania. Dave McCormick is currently ahead of Bob Casey. This was sort of unthinkable. This was a couple of weeks ago. McCormick was 5 points behind and was trailing Trump significantly. Now he's caught up to Donald Trump. Will put those numbers up. But if all of a sudden Republicans have a few vote cushion, they can afford to lose Susan Collins. They can afford to lose Lisa Murkowski.
Both 2 senators.
2 very moderate senators who have bucked Donald Trump. Dave McCormick, I'm sure an honorable man in many ways, is not going to buck Donald Trump.
No.
Okay, nor is Eric Hovde in Michigan, in Wisconsin if he wins. I think McCormick's coming out at some point.
Maybe different this time if Trump wins, because he'll be lame duck as soon as he gets in. So he doesn't have the same teeth to punish you in primaries.
But he still owns MAGA, and he's still going to appoint whatever the next.
What does that mean for RFK Jr. as Secretary of Health and Human Services?
It means that if Trump wants to ram somebody through, it's going to be very difficult for any Republicans that's not Susan Collins or Lisa Murkowski to stop that.
Wow.
And that's
unless they filibuster. And then
not on cabinet appointments.
Not on cabinet appointments.
They're not allowed to do it.
There's no filibuster. And look, Republican, we all said this all along. Any traditionalist and institutionalist said, once you break the filibuster for one thing, it's going to just end up being eroded all the way down. Kamala Harris said she'd break it for Roe and other issues, so there you go. But what we're seeing now, 11:41 p.m. Eastern Time, we've been at this now, I think, for 5 hours and 40 minutes, if I have my math right, that the American public's starting to go to bed. People have to get up tomorrow morning and go to work. And therefore, who speaks first in these races to come out and say, look, there's a lot of vote still out. We're going to wait until tomorrow morning. And that sort of preempts whether it's Bob Casey from coming out, if Dave McCormick speaks first, if it's Kamala Harris who comes out and speaks first. It preempts Donald Trump or whoever is currently in a better position but cannot declare victory from really coming out until tomorrow.
Yeah.
It sort of hits the pause button. I think you're going to see a lot of campaigns try to do that.
By the way, we're getting
it's
reports
a
that
tricky
people are
call.
now leaving the Harris rally. So I don't know if she's going to speak, but reports are that folks are heading to the exits. It is nearly midnight on the East Coast. Still a big crowd there, but.
All right, Decision Desk HQ projecting Harris wins New Jersey. No big surprise there, but you.
Hey, thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget, click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.